Yo, what up? We're talking about the Sixers, and I think I made a mistake. I think I made a big mistake. In fact, I'm going to amend this video right now. I have the 76ers as the 4 seed currently. However, due to just looking over their roster and everything that I needed to look into, I'm going to move them down to 5. I will move the Atlanta Hawks up to 4. So we'll make a final review video of kind of where I think the standings are going to be, and we will show that. But right now I will talk about the Sixers. I will reference them as the 5th seed in this video, so keep that in mind. Thanks for clicking on the video. My name's Adam. Today we're talking about the 76ers. Why I believe they are going to be the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference this year. Talk a little bit about that whole Ben Simmons drama, and we're getting a little bit of updates every day about kind of where things are at there. But I will talk about these 4 things here. Off-season moves, what their salary cap situation is like, their rotations, and then their win total according to the Action Network and Vegas. So let's just jump on to it now. Again, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me where I'm right, and let your voice be heard. All right, so we got the 76ers here. Let's talk about what they did in the offseason. They added Andre Drummond as kind of that backup role, with Dwight Howard leaving to the Lakers again. And then Georges Niang was brought in from Utah. And then they brought in Grant Riller, who I don't even know who that is. And then they also drafted Philip Petrusev, Charles Bassey, and Jaden Springer, who I really think is going to be a good player in the league, but probably will take him some time to develop. So some solid stuff from Philadelphia. Again, they didn't have a whole lot of flexibility. A lot of their money, which we'll break down in a minute, is going towards Harris and Simmons and Embiid. So, they didn't really have a whole lot of flexibility to drastically make a big change. There were rumors of maybe a sign and trade of Simmons to Toronto and Lowry would go to the Sixers, but that never happened. So yeah, we are with this roster is what it is, right? Quickly, I'll mention that they did lose, again, like I mentioned, Dwight Howard, George Hill, Rajon Tucker, Anthony Tolliver from this team last year. But let's really quickly move over, because I do want to talk a lot about Ben Simmons and that whole situation that's going on in Philadelphia right now, with him pretty much holding out like an NFL player would, and not playing. He wants to be moved. He's pretty much, I think it's official that he's requested a trade to happen, and I'll give my thoughts on that. But let's really quickly give a look here to this cap sheet. Tobias Harris. Look, I like Tobias Harris, and I do think there's value in Tobias Harris. 35 million plus over the next 3 years, pushing 40 million. That seems a little bit too high of a price tag for a player that I don't know if he's ever going to be an all-star in the East. I know he provides value, I know he provides shooting, and he actually had a good year last year. His numbers went up. But I'm not crazy about Tobias being my lead scorer in games where Embiid's not playing, and really being my main perimeter scorer. I'd much rather have a guy like Middleton. I'd much rather have even a guy like Jaylen Brown. And I do worry a little bit about that with the Sixers, and it's not necessarily a movable contract. Look, again, I love Tobias. It's nothing about him. It's just how much money. And look, good for him. He got his money, but team-wise, I just think it's a little bit of a point of concern for the team. Ben Simmons, we'll talk about him in a minute, has 4 years left on his deal, so a team that would trade for him would be trading for his 4-year contract, which is a little bit tricky, but something that Simmons and his camp at Clutch Sports do want to see if they can move forward, and just getting him out of Philadelphia. I'll have a whole Ben Simmons segment here in a minute. Embiid, under contract, he's extended through the 2026-27 season, so that's pretty good. And no complaints about Embiid. Maybe be a little bit more healthy, but I know that's somewhat out of his control. Anyway, Danny Green, Seth Curry, they bring back. Furkan Korkmaz is back. Niang they brought in from Utah as a stretch 4 who can shoot the 3 very, very well. Tybal, very, very good. Maxey, they hope, can take that next step. Springer, already mentioned. Shake Milton's a very good bench player. And then they have Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed, Charles Bassey, Aaron Henry, Grant Riller on this team. I believe it was, going back to really quickly on Tobias, I believe that it was Isaiah Joe who mentioned in some interview in Philadelphia that Tobias Harris is actually the player that keeps this team together. This is maybe why I'll put, well, not maybe, this is why one of the reasons why I'll put Philadelphia here at the 5 seed. To me, it doesn't seem like there's a real leader there. I know Embiid's the best player. I know Simmons is the point guard. Obviously, there's the whole Simmons drama, so you can't sit here and say like, oh, well, Simmons is the leader. Well, I don't know if he's the leader, if he wants to leave the team when tensions are high. And, you know, you can go either way on that whole Ben Simmons argument. I don't know if Embiid is a huge leader. I think he's mostly just doing his thing, putting up his stats. I don't know if I see a whole lot of leadership from him. Tobias Harris is that guy for Philadelphia. I don't think it's Doc Rivers either. But Tobias Harris is the dude, apparently, according to Isaiah Joe, says that brings the team together and that team might not be that connected if it wasn't for Harris. So it's just interesting to note, and maybe a reason why you will not see Tobias moved, along with the fact that his contract is extremely, extremely large and will not be moved easily. Let's move over to rotations. I think I'll talk about Ben Simmons at the very end here. How much time we got? Okay, really quickly, rotations. Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid are the projected starting 5 with Simmons out. Again, assuming that he's not going to play at all, which I think is very strong. And then we also have Shake Milton, Furkan Korkmaz, Matisse Thybulle, George Niang, and Andre Drummond. I actually like their reserves. And I don't think they're going to be awful. But again, there is a big jump from Ben Simmons down to Tyrese Maxey, right? Or Shake Milton. So, yeah, I know that Philadelphia fans, you want to say, hey, Ben Simmons is trash. Was it like a WWE event a couple days ago or yesterday that there was fans screaming F Ben Simmons? I just what are you going to be able to get for him is my thing. What? I don't think you're going to get a better player. And so now you're just, you know, what is it? Beating a dead horse. You're literally not doing your team any favors, by doing this. And I think the Sixers have struggled and messed this situation up with Ben Simmons. You can think that he's bad. I totally, you know what? I think there's things to be concerned about for his game. But to the point now where it's we need him off the team because we need to get better. I don't know if Ben Simmons being off your team makes you better. You need a better player to be returned in a deal, and I just don't think that that's going to happen. And Ben Simmons is kind of playing it right because he's saying, I don't want to go to, I don't want to go to a bad team, right? Pretty much. He doesn't want to go to Oklahoma City. He doesn't want to go to Sacramento. I think he wants to go to one of those LA teams, or he wants to go to the Warriors, and the Warriors don't want him. So it's just a hard situation. It'll be really interesting. There was a report recently that did say that Simmons' house is not only going to be up for sale here soon, but it's also cleared, and his bags are packed. I think that was coming from Shams. I wish I had the tweet up or the report up. But Simmons is totally not even in Philadelphia. I don't know where he is. I don't follow him on Instagram or anything like that. It's an interesting situation. He is full on done with Philadelphia. And the fact that his bags are packed and his home is empty and going to be on the market soon is wild to me. Let's talk about the Sixers and their 51.5 projection. I will take the under. I do feel like Atlanta is going to be better. I do feel like another team that I've yet to mention is going to be better. This is going to be a tough year, I think, for Philadelphia. So again, when the trade comes down, if there's a trade at all, that Ben Simmons needs to leave or is gone and move to a different team. I know Philadelphia fans, you want to rejoice, but that player that is going to be returned needs to be better impact-wise than Simmons was. I don't think De'Aaron Fox fixes it. I don't think D'Angelo Russell and Jaden McDaniels fixes it. I think that it's going to have to be another player that we've seen in the All-Star game within the last couple of years, and I don't think that's going to happen. There were rumors of, maybe Siakam or, I mentioned the Kyle Lowry thing, but I just don't think something's going to come out. They're going to need another team involved, which always gets tricky because it can't just be Philadelphia and another team. I just don't think the other team's going to want to give up draft picks. Like, Philly's asking for draft picks. There's an ugly scenario where this just turns into a, hey, here's a really good, like, startable player that's never going to be an all-star, and then here's a bunch of picks, and that's what Simmons gets moved for. We'll see. I don't think, though, to kind of be transparent here, I don't think that Simmons is going to land on one of his desired teams. The Minnesota thing is really interesting. I think Cleveland is also in the race. Indiana is also in the race. There was also the rumor about Karis LeVert going to the Pacers. Now, maybe that's it, right? Maybe it's Karis LeVert and draft picks from Indiana, and that's what Philadelphia gets. Look, you're not better next year because of that trade. So, it is what it is. And again, I'll take the 51.5, and I'll go under that. And I think that they're going to, while I think they're more of a 48-win team than a 45-win team, it's under the 51, and I will move forward with that. I think things might get ugly, and I don't think Dame Dollar is going to go to Philadelphia. I don't think Beal is going to be traded to Philadelphia. It's just not going to happen. We'll see. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and I'll come back and laugh at this video. But Philadelphia, I'm sorry. I had you initially at 4. I'm moving you down to 5. The Hawks are better than you right now. Be straight up honest, and they kind of proved that in the playoffs. So tell me your thoughts, tell me your opinions in the comment section. Feel free to again to subscribe to the channel. We are doing teams 1 through 3 in both the Eastern and Western Conference starting next week, and then we got the season like a week after that. So get excited, get pumped, more videos coming, and we'll catch you in the next video.